right, guys. I just got a new computer, so things may pop up. Don't mind me. All right, I am going to first put on this AI companion. If you have any AI devices to take notes, I suggest you do so. So people are using the Otter system or so whatnot. You can always also activate your screen recording on your phone, on your computer or your phone. We will have again the PDF for this, and so you don't have to worry about not having. And your team and her team is recording this. Okay. All right. Let me go to first my. Oh, all right. I'm going to take over your screen as soon as I can get my computer to act right. 1 second, y'all. Okay. All right, you guys. 1 second. I found my chart. I had to go get it. All right, you guys. All right. Can everybody see my screen? Okay. So, really quick, welcome to again the study hall. This is for level 3 for the Wine Spirits Education Trust. So I have a couple things to disclose. One, I took the level 2, took the level 3. Oh, there's people coming into the room. 1 second. All right. Welcome to I think it was Miss Smith. Welcome to level 3. We did just start. If you don't mind, could you please put your name, your state in the chat? Um, that would be helpful. And so I was telling everybody that we just about my journey with this quote unquote test. So I took level 2. I started in Virginia in at the Washington Wine School, and then my the guy who was the professor, he ended up moving to Maryland, and he was a master of wine, so I was like, let me go start it there. So I went to Capital Wine School with Jay Yeomans, and I took my level 3. I did not pass my level 3, but I didn't know I didn't pass. Back in the day, when you took tests, took like months for you to get your results, and I moved. So when I didn't get my results, I figured I passed. When you pass the level 3, you start to use the acronyms beyond your name, supposed. And anyway, I found out about like a year later that I didn't pass because my mail ended up catching up to me. So fast forward, retaking the test, probably at least twice. The last time I went to tip the day before my exam, my daughter got sick. She has chronic illness, and she was in the hospital, so it was just kind of a wrap. So I'm very familiar with this test. Nothing like failing it to help you have perspective. I will give you some insight. This test is very difficult. In the academia world, I believe this is a compressed 4 years. Um, the level 2 to me is like an associate's compressed. I think the level 3 to me is a compressed 4 year degree. It's a very hard test. I've also taken the CSW from the Society of Wine Educators, which is the Certified Specialist of Wine. I'm very familiar with that test too. So I teach from those perspectives. Um, Also, I have dyslexia and ADHD. We will be talking in a 365-degree version of when it comes to styles. So I kind of talk to everybody because I'm like every student. Okay. Again, if you guys have any questions, I'll be monitoring the chat, or you could just kind of pipe in. Okay. All right. So here's some tips and tricks to success. I'm going to give you guys some key techniques and some study tips. We're not going to go over the exam like verbatim, right? That is for you guys to do on your own. But I am going to help you waste less time and to give you some ways to keep your mind focused. Okay. All right. So there's a great quote. Wine makes every meal an occasion, every table more elegant, every day more civilized. So this is a 3-layered quote. This test is in 3 layers. You can think of it that way. Okay. I love wines that have 3 layers. If they're more interesting, it's more complex. This test is more complex. Okay. So think of this. That's why I love this quote so much. Um, all right, so let's give a breakdown of what the test is actually about. This test is comprised of 3 parts. Okay. You have the multiple choice, part A. Okay. It's still 50 questions. Okay. You have the short answer, which is also called theory. Okay. Uh, this is part B of the test. And then finally, you have the end portion, which is the blind tasting, using the WSET systematic approach. You guys are familiar with that approach in level 2. The grid is definitely a little bit more, definitely more enhanced in level 3. And we kind of giving you recommended study hours. This is cumulative. I would say it's actually way more than this. So when they kind of say 40 hours, I'm like, is it a week? Yeah, probably. I would say it's a week. I think, oh, hold on, we got more people coming into the room. Okay, hold on, I see somebody. Let's make sure. Connecticut, hold on. Maryland. All right. Miss Connie, welcome to our study hall. We did just start. So welcome. If you would don't mind, if you could put your state in the chat where you're from, we would appreciate that. So I think this is like, I won't say 40 hours a week like a job, but you are going to be studying if it was an average like 2 hours a day, right? Um until, and I don't know how you guys are taking your exam, but most exams are weekly. They usually last between 8 to 12 weeks. Um, it could be 14. Some people are doing weekend crash courses. I do not recommend that, but do you? And I haven't seen any programs that were like they're either weekends or they're every week. So if if you're in something different, please let me know because I'm always interested. Okay. Kind of high. All right. So passing the level 3 exam requires thorough preparation and strategic approach to exam sections. To the multiple choice, the short answer, the blind tasting. Okay. There is a mindset and a conversation, a verbiage, a language that the level 3 has. You must learn the language of the test. I say there's a language because again, my brain is a little bit different. Um, I notice patterns, right? And I noticed that uh, this is a critical thinking test. The level 3 is even more so. I've had I don't want to say pleasure, but the opportunity to take the certified specialist of wine. And that exam is a very heavy critical thought and geography based test. It's all multiple choice, but if you don't know mountain ranges and you don't know left, south to north to south, east to west, if you don't know where things are on that exam, if you don't orient yourself in that way, then you won't be successful. So this test has that um, level of expectation to it. Okay. So again, the part, oops, hold on. I got ahead of myself. Part A. All right. So the multiple choice 50, that's still there. You guys will be familiar with that from level 2. Okay. Um, we'll briefly talk about those sections. If you struggle um, with learning disabilities, as I did have, so when I was in college, well, when I was out of college, I noticed things, but I noticed early on, I didn't get diagnosed till I was like 36 with dyslexia and then ADHD, so forth. And then I noticed though, when I was younger, is when I first started going to school in college and taking some certain type of tests. I noticed it in high school, but I would ask the professor, instead of me taking multiple choice, can I just take a short answer or do an essay and blah, blah, blah. And most of them would say, yeah, you can. So I was able to have the opportunity to take tests in different ways. Multiple choice blows and messes with my whole sensibilities. Okay. If 1 plus 1 is 2, and it says 2 is A and 3 is B and 4 is C, for whatever reason, my brain won't automatically go to 2. It'll start to guess and I will ask myself dumb questions, and sometimes I won't get the right answer. So I've learned to actually just write the answer down as soon as I get there, and then go back and see if my answer matches one of the multiple choices. Um, but multiple choice is a heavily part of your test. I believe you still need to get at least 33%. Well, you have to in order to pass, it's still the same percentages from level two: pass, pass with distinction, and pass with merit. Um, I just want everybody to understand. Oh, here's another person coming into the room. Okay. I just want everybody to understand all you need to do is pass, you guys. Okay. You don't need to pass with merit or distinction. That's great, but you just need to pass. Okay. 55% is passing. Okay. You just need to pass. No one's going to ask you your score, right? No one is. All they want you to do is pass. Hold on. I think I see somebody in the chat. Yes, just pass. Okay. So the second part of the exam is the theory. It's called the short answer questions requiring in-depth knowledge. And this part is probably, let me ask y'all a question real quick. What part of the three-part test do you guys think is the most you're most nervous about? The multiple choice, the theory short answer, or the blind tasting? I want you guys to put your answers in the chat. Put in your answers in the chat. What part of the test do you find the most that you are most nervous about, or you most scared about, or is it the short answer? Is it the theory? See, is it the multiple choice? Is it the theory short answer, or is it the blind tasting? Okay, short answer, multiple choice. All right, good. Those are great answers. A lot of people will say the blind tasting. I will tell you that the part that you probably need to concentrate on the most is the short answer. The majority of the people who I know that did not pass this exam, it was because of the short answer. I did not pass this exam because of the short answer, the theory part, quote unquote. You need to spend time with short answers. Okay, so we'll go over that part a little bit more too. Um, they're all equal, but that. All right, so part A, multiple choice questions. You need to understand the WSET level 3 specification document. Let's pause for a moment. If you don't have the book or the study guide or the flashcard, put a 1 in the chat. Good. I don't see no one's great. All right, so you definitely want to focus on the specification document, focus on wine style, winemaking techniques, viniculture, labeling. That's probably your first 10 questions for multiple choice. Viniculture can be a short answer question. Wine making technique is definitely a short answer question. You want to use the flashcards. Either you create your own. I would say to you, here's a couple of things. Well, we'll go over where you can get some more information, but you should definitely create your own flashcards or download. They have the ones you can purchase. I wouldn't purchase the ones that they have from the site. I mean, if you have, great, but if you're thinking about it, I would say there's so many flashcards on the internet. I'm gonna show you guys a great resource where to find it, like a plethora. Okay, but you definitely want to create flashcards for yourself. Um, practice the uh, test questions, practice exams, um, and then try to use some memory aids um, for different things. You want to, know memory aids for wine faults. You want to know memory aids for, um, well, I mean, everybody use memory aids in a different way, so I'm not even going to give you specifics on that. Some people are using rhymes and acronyms, anagrams, and so forth. Okay. Um, all right. So your short answer questions. You want to practice writing concise answers and stick to the point. You want to use key terms like climate and soil and viticulture. You're going to use the term that you see in the book. You want to definitely use those, right? Um, you want to get familiar with the systematic approach. When we get to later on in this presentation, I'll show you the grid and what I'll give you guys some points on how to make that tasting grid a little bit more user friendly. Learn region specifics, AOCs, ABAs, oh Lord, ABAs, DOCGs, all of those things. You want to know the wine laws. Um, um, I just realized I did an edit and I put the wrong I put the wrong region specific details. Oh, my brain, y'all. Anyway, um yeah, you want to know those type of terms. Malactic fermentation, lees aging, noble rot. What is the traditional method versus non-traditional methods, warm climate, cool climate wines, stuff. Those terms, you're going to become more familiar. You guys, again, have taken level 2, so you're familiar with those terms already. Um, 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 okay, so the blind tasting section, systematic approach. So you want to memorize. You really want to memorize the level 3 systematic approach. Um, One of the things, tasting regularly with purpose, practice with a variety of wines. I don't know, some of you guys are getting wine sent to you if you're doing it online, or if you guys are actually in a classroom environment where you get to taste the wine. Um, I know there are study groups, hopefully within your state. That's why sometimes I ask you guys to put down where you're from. Hopefully, you guys can all get to your you can get it. You can get get if you're closer to each other. If you're closer to each other, then that would be something that you could do. But if not, try to find a blind study group in your area. Talk to some distributors. There's trade season. I don't know where you guys are, but right now we're kind of in spring trade season, and um um We're tasting a lot of wine during the week. Usually trade events are in the afternoon, so that might be difficult if you guys are if this is not your primary career. But some things that you can do is I like to get the actual tasting grid. I went to the library because it's free out here, but I went to the library, shrunk it down, um, shrunk down the approach, laminated it front and back, and then I had one in my wallet. I have one inside my study guide. I have one in my workbook. I just have, I think I've made like 4 or 5 copies. And everywhere I would go, I would take the grid out and do a tasting with myself or whatever I had, no matter what. It doesn't necessarily have to be what they, if you are lucky enough to get the wines, what they have that week. You can go and try to find something that's regional or just get into the practice of tasting in the style that they have. Okay. Um, you can keep you a tasting guide, a tasting book. I have several. I need to compress them together. I like to write. I like to write things down instead of tasting, but you can use your voice notes or voice messaging and or any type of device that'll help you. All right. Yeah, don't spend a lot of time in each section, right? Um, you just kind of want to. I think people spend the most time on is the taste and when they're trying to get the specific characteristics down when it comes to fruit styles and winemaking techniques. Okay. Um. All right. So the systematic approach does get a little. Again, it gets more in depth. The colors you have to describe them instead of just getting yellow, rosé, or red. You'll have white, and it'll have all different types of colors for yellow, and then you'll and variations for rosé and variations for pink. And you'll have plus and plus minus and medium plus, medium minus. And those are kind of the battles that you'll have with yourself um, on that. I'll show you a tasting grid when we get to the end. Practice blind tasting with different wines, as I just said. You'll have 30 minutes to describe 2 wines accurately. Um, the WSET exam is an hour and a half. Yeah, the exam is still an hour, and then the tasting. I think they give you 2 hours, but I believe they still do. It's not an hour. Like the level 2 was an hour. Okay. All right. So we're going to talk about a knowledge application strategy. So you need to think when you're taking this test, your level of critical thought is in a different space, especially for the theory/slash short answer part. So if they're asking you questions like, explain the role of oak in Rioja, you better be able to do that. Okay. um, step by step if necessary, if you can, right? They're ask you to, what does vanilla on the nose mean? And you'll have to tell them when it, with white wine or with red wine, or, they'll ask you specific questions. Um, they'll give you exam conditions for, um, they'll give you exam conditions. So focus on past papers to identify reoccurring themes and improve your time management. Again, you want to keeping yourself on pace. Because the short answer is probably you should probably spend about 30 minutes. I believe it's still three short answers that you have to go through. One will definitely be you definitely would, I would say, concentrate on Sherry. Sherry needs to be your middle name, y'all. You need to know Sherry from the Rudy to the Tooth. I'm not gonna say that's the one that got me, but it is the one that got me. Sparkling wine production. You need to definitely know that from the beginning to the end. Um, that will definitely be one of the short answers that they'll go through. They like to go through those type of production styles. Viniculture is a short answer test that I've seen over and over. When you talk to people who haven't passed it, we all have our war stories of the part of the theory that has hurt us the most. um, um, you should definitely know oak production, what winemaking techniques. What can oak do? What can stainless steel do? What can it do for red? What can it do for rosé? What can it do for um, all type of styles of wine, fortified included? Oh, we have some more people coming into the room. All right. I would definitely tell you guys to study. If you can't study daily, um, everybody has different time requirements or time. So if you can try to get in an hour at least once you get everything down, that is definitely helpful. I remember feeling like I didn't have enough time, even though I had enough time. By the time I got into a routine, it took me too long to get into a routine. And I think for me, the method that worked the most was the flashcards. So read your book, take your notes, write in a notebook, because writing is the best form of memory comprehension from a person whose brain is a little bit off. Okay. Then flashcards, either make your own and or use the ones that are on the internet. I would not purchase the ones that they have that's like $20. I would go look for the ones on like Quizlet, and I'm gonna show you a couple databases in about two or three more clicks where you guys can go look. Some of the ones on Quizlet you can print out. I don't know how you would print them out, but people have told me they've done that before. You have to set it up on the printer some way, and I believe some printers now or some platforms have the ability to set up like flashcard printing and or distribution on their printer, but I don't know for a fact. Um, all right, so we're kind of going to get into the sections of the book a little bit, and then I'm going to show you guys places where y'all can get some support. All right, so the current 2025 book, I don't think it's out yet. I think the 25 is going to print it. I know the flashcards are out and the study guide. I think they already put the flashcards are out and something else is out. But the book for 25, I don't know if it's out and it has been updated. I think it's going to come out in April. Don't quote me on that. So the current book is technically still 24. Okay. If you have an older book up into the 24 is actually still 22. And then the 22 is 19, if that makes sense. They updated the book maybe three times. This newest upgrade for 25, I don't believe it's out yet. So these are based off of that. You can go to Google and ask Google Scholar too, but you can ask Google, can you give me when the book comes out, it's 25 out, you don't have to purchase it. But you can ask them what are the differences between 24 and 25, and it'll give you like a list of what that may be. Okay. All right. So first, the first two chapters is they talk about natural and human factors in the vineyard, basically talking about viniculture, winemaking, versioning on topography, talking about a little bit about geography, definitely talking about climate. Okay. These are, I believe, chapter 1 and 2 and 3. I remember that book. I hold on, I have it right here. Let me get up and grab the book. You guys happen to be in luck. I was cleaning up the other day. Now this is an older book, but oh no, this is the this is Society of Wine Educators. Dang, I got excited. Okay, so I believe the first 2 to 3 chapters are about viticulture, grape growing, identifying the grape, and so forth. Okay. My this is my least. I struggled with this part of the book. Maybe because I just found it. At first, I was like, "Oh, this is so boring," and it took a long time for my brain to get back. Now I'm at the other spectrum, and now I'm fascinated by viticulture and winemaking techniques in another way. But this portion for me in the beginning I did struggle with, but you definitely want to know these basics. Okay. Winemaking and maturation chapter focuses on winemaking process, include fermentation, the use of oak, blending, aging, and delves in how these steps contribute to the flavor structure and longevity of wine. Definitely, probably this is a at least 2 to 3 multiple choice questions, possibly short answer, short a theory. Still wines of the world. So the bulk of the book starts to go into either grapes and then regions. Okay, so you start to talk about styles of winemaking techniques for white and red, rosé, sparkling, fortified. It gives you an overview of grapes, and then it just goes into the region, which is the majority of the book. The majority of the book, so Wine and Spirits Education Trust is located in London. So this is a heavily European-based test. Okay. Um, they don't spend a lot of time in the US. I'm not saying they don't talk about it. They don't spend a lot of time. Okay. Obviously, California, Oregon, Washington. Now you have they talk a little bit about Finger Lakes, blurb on Texas, um, majority Napa Valley based, smattering on Oregon, Willamette Valley. The second largest wine region or production is Washington State, which people still don't know to this day. So they start talking about those areas, but this is mostly a European based test. Okay, a bulk on France, bulk on Italy. Spain is starting to pop around. Okay, you have smatterings here and there. Um, Old world, new world. Now we're trying to get rid of those terms because now we know old world is Georgia and Iran. So I'm like, and new world would be all the new wine regions that climate change didn't create it, like China. Anyway, all right, sparkling wines of the world. We'll go through sparkling wine, the method. You'll go through traditional tank transfer method, talk about champagne, cava, prosecco. Um, they'll spend time on Italian styles, uh, spumante d'Asti, spumante, Moscato d'Asti. I think you kind of talk about Sec German sparkling wine, and um, there are, I don't know if they are, there's rumors that the 25 has some more regions, but I don't know. I don't know if Prosecco Rosé is in, well, Prosecco Rosé is in that conversation. I don't know how much depth they have that in the new book. I think that's one of the ones that they wanted to upgrade a little bit more. 4 to 5 wines of the world. Definitely need to know about all these methods. Again, emphasis on sherry and port. I believe no, they don't have that on it. But yeah, you want to definitely know the methods of how they're met, the different types, um, their aging process, the cities that have the countries and regions that are very prominent in the area. Wine Folly has a really great resource for this. Um, the book doesn't talk in depth about it, but you best believe this is on the test. Okay. Do not be fooled. I was. I was. Don't be fooled. Understanding wine quality. So this is basically still going back to the grid and teach this chapter, and this is towards the ends of the book. It teaches you guys how to assess wine quality and based on the grid, using the grid. So that's why the grid is so important to get into practice of how to use it and how to think about wine and wine styles. Food and wine pairings. Guys, go over this. This is expanding, I hear, in 25 because they're trying to get more food styles on here that are not so rigid in certain regions. But yeah, you guys should know some smattering about food pairings. What goes together grows together, sweet on sweets, acid on acid, and then those atypical pairings that are now coming about. And then the social and health impacts of wine. Definitely know the last, there's a chapter on organic, biodynamic, sustainable. What are the differences? There's one now on regenerative practices. You guys need to know what all those little new acronyms mean and or the symbols for each region. Where were we at a tasting the other day, and they have a new seal for organic farming that I just started to see, so we were talking about that. um I believe that that has been circulating as a short answer theory question. What are the differences between biodynamic, sustainable, organic, and regenerative? Okay. And they don't want you, they just literally is blank, and you just need to fill in as much as possible so you can get as many points as possible. They are not going to walk you through that short answer. They just going to be like, go. Um, all right. Anybody have any questions so far? Okay, so again, I'll be able to provide this for you guys at a PDF form so you can have access to these links. But these are some places where you can go and get support. The internet is full. When I took this exam, they had nothing on the internet that was a little bit, barely any stuff that you could just try to help you help yourself. So, I spent a lot of hours making my own flashcards. Um, some tricks you can do. Find a Facebook group in the last year of people who have taken the exam, ask to join the groups, Once you get in the groups, there are people there who pass, they have stellar notes. You can pay for people's notes, right? I'm not objected to that. Do what you need to do. Um, um, there are practice exams all over the internet. I would not purchase anything if you don't need to, because there are so many that are floating around. The the uh the actual exam is not on the internet, but the practice exams are on the internet. And the practice exams are very, very important for you to get your hands on one because majority of the time, in my experience between the workbook and the study guide, the way that those answers are, the way that they orient themselves, you'll see those on the test. I believe there was at least 10 of the questions that I had saw regurgitated over and over in practice exams, they were on the test. I believe that's still true to this day. So I thought that was great because I'm like, oh, I know this one. We did this so many times. I would purchase the workbook. You don't have to purchase the brand new one. I would purchase that. I would purchase the study guide. I would not purchase the flashcards. So these are just kind of help you forms that I found. They're actual quizzes. They're usually about 10 questions long, and they will give you your answer at the end of it. You can print these out. Um, the answers and or I believe I have the ones that start at chapter 4. Chapter 3, I don't think that I was able to find those. But so I have them all listed. Oh, somebody had a question. Hold on. Mm, you said brainscape. Oh, I never heard of brainscape. All right, so here's Alsace, Germany, Austria, Hungary. I got one of so France is broken down in a couple sections. So here's Burgundy, Loire, Bordeaux, Southwest France, Loire. Here's red and whites of Northern Rhone, Southern France. Um, it's over here twice. Hold on. Oh, oh, sorry. Did I just click out of it? I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't mean to click out of it. All right. All right. Spain, Portugal, Italy, Northern Spain, Northern Italy, Central, Southern Italy, Portugal, wines of Greece. All of these are the tests on here. Same Google Forms. Um, Premium red wines of New World whites, specialty wines of New World. All the tests that I could find for level 3, I put in this PDF. Okay. Here are the tests for sparkling, fortified. This is for both. Yeah, this is for sparkling. You can take these over and over, you know. Oh, okay. Um, so I have on here a printable booklet of mind maps. Sometimes this link works and sometimes it doesn't. All right. What I'll do is I don't know why it feels like they turn it off during the day, if that's possible. But when I send it to you guys, this has to when I send it to you, I'll make sure that you have. Um, it's mostly I think there's only 8 wine maps on here. I think wine maps are definitely helpful to help you with regions. Um, and I got that wine map mentality from when I was taking the certified wines, the CSW. Um, that test again is heavily geography based. One of the weeks, if you take that exam, if you get into the class, there's only one woman that teach it. I teach a study session, but she teaches the whole exam, Society of Wine Educators. One of the weeks in that is all on maps and is a powerfully great uh, 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 um, online workshop she does about how to use the maps to help you study for these exams. So I never forgot that. So basically, I take the map, I print it out big, and then I fill it in with, the cities and um, I fill it in with topography, the mountains and lakes and rivers and all of that. Put that on the map. Um, and then on the back part of the map, I put the grapes and I put the climate and I put the soil breakdown and I put, you know, some of the top producers in that area. So that's kind of me like a large flip flashcard. I go to the art store and get a studio tracing, not tracing paper, um, sketching paper. I like the hard sketching paper, not flimsy. I like mine with a little bit of cardboard mentality, if you want to speak to it. So it kind of has some sturdiness. And then I trace the maps. If I can't find the map and or I use the ones that are blank, I blow them up, paste them on there, and then I just kind of use them back and forth. That helped me the most in my 365-degree learning mindset. That helped me the most with it when it comes to this test because there are more regions. I think the CSW you have to know at 48 wine regions. I think the level 3, the way they have this, it's around 28. I think someone had to look that up for me. But I think it's around 28 because level 2 is around 20. Um, let's see, we'll let you get this one too. No, no. All right, but the quiz on maps is here. The maps look like this. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a quiz real quick. Okay. Does anybody know what country this is without cheating? You can put your answer in the chat. All right. You need to be familiar with this country. This is France. They're invading who? So I like to get this map, right? Get it big and then fill in all of these regions. Where's Burgundy? Where's Bordeaux? Where's Loire? Where's right? And then I put in wherever the countries are around it. I fill in their mountains wherever they are at. I fill in the major rivers, major lakes that matter to us. Okay, everyone matters, but you know. And then on the back of this, flipped over, I put all the grapes for Burgundy and all the grapes for Bordeaux. And then you know if you can put well, you know, Burgundy and Bordeaux and all of them, they're a lot. You kind of got to break those up individually because it's just so overwhelming. But you know what, you kind of get the gist, right? But the maps look like this that we will let you guys, I'll get to so you can print out. I also had the individual regional maps on there. If I can't, if they've shut this down, then I will just let you guys use the maps we use for CSW because those maps they're regional. Did I find some? Mm. Oh, these are the grapes. Hold on. All right. These are the grapes. I found this when I was doing the level 2 class last week, which I wish I had this. So just sidebar. These are all the grapes. Somebody actually put this, which is a great, whoever this is a great individual. They put a PDF file of all of the um, grape profiles, Raceling, you know, everyone is on here. So I just put it on here. This is 47 pages long. We'll get it. This site is called Scribed. If y'all see this here, Scribed is a site where you can, every book known to man, it's like its own little Library of Congress. The site is free for 30 days. As it says, download for free for 30 days. Definitely, they give you 30 days. There are a lot of books on here. You can download this PDF and you could download as much as you want on your computer or your little USB for 30 days. And then after that, you want to stay, you keep the service. I think it's like, I don't know, $20 a month, I think. But this is a great profile of all the grapes. I wish I had this and I didn't have to write all this stuff down. And don't mind you that this says WSET 2014. Okay. This book really doesn't change the core of it. It just gets tenured with new information. Okay. If you go in the Scribe and type in, you see I've been out here all day. Level 3, you're gonna get a lot of stuff on here. I when I first saw this, I went in here and I just printed up everything. I don't know about you guys, but we can go to our local library and print up at least 100 pages for free. So I always use their ink instead of mine. Okay. Work smarter, not harder. Um, they have new release stuff on here. You can put in the year 2024. And it starts to so it'll put all the stuff on here. So here are sample quizzes. Oh, that's the level 2. But level 3s are on here. They have diploma stuff on here too, yeah. But level 3, if you want it, it's yours. It tells you how many pages it is. Do these in black and white or color. Level 3 practice exam. Look, this one was updated in September of 24. That's pretty recent. That's pretty dope. Again, I wish. You see mock questions. Definitely check that out. Anything that has to do with a mock exam, you probably want to print that. This is the one I have for you guys, the grapes PDF. All the grapes and all their profiles are on here. There are some Quizlets flashcards on here. That's why I say save your money. Save your money. Um, so yeah, great resource. That's kind of source, went back and forth in source. I will get these printable blank maps. That I'll get that link to activate once I save this for you guys. So here's the grid. You don't have a copy of one. Uh, Here's a copy of one. This level 2 grid, front and back. Again, just print it out, make it smaller, shrink it up, put it in your pocket, have it on you. Go to some happy hours and go test these out. Um, Call one of your friends who's in the program. You guys can agree to try to maybe find a wine, together that both of you guys have access to and go through these tasting grids with somebody, one of your study partners. It could be Zoom wise, there's a lot of ways to keep in touch or get in touch with people. Video, tips video. This I think this is the one where the girls, yeah. This is the one where she's going over. Yep. So, I switched this up for level 3. So this guy, Wine with Jimmy, he's really great with his level 3 videos. There are 3 years, but they are very on point, up to date. They're around 10 minutes. He goes over after he goes over the whatever the category is, he uses the tasting grid, kind of gives you an idea verbiage wise what you need to be focused or saying or how to use the grid. If you guys want a live view of what that looks like, okay. Um, he does level 2 and I believe diploma too. His videos are really good. They're really good. So I have that link. I think I put all of his playlists on here, so you can just kind of look at the ones. But all of them, he does a tasting. He uses the approach to do a tasting note.
Hello, hello,
All
hello.
right.
Welcome to the Wine with Jimmy channel here with your host, Jimmy Smith. Delighted to have you on board here on this educational channel. Now, we do loads of things about wine here, most of it to help you with your wine studies, and this is no exception. This is the series that we have here called the WSET Level 3 Systematic Approach to Tasting, SAT as an acronym. And it's my full examiner's notes, and the wines that I select here are readily available wine in the...
All right, so you're gonna definitely want to know storage and service of wine, storage temperatures, conditions, why they're good, why they're not good, decanting, some sommelier practices, how to serve, what tools to use. Um, Wine faults is touched in level 3. You need to know 9 for the most part of the most basic ones. I believe there are 23 wine faults, but you definitely need to know 9. What is oxidation? What is what are some terms? What do they smell like? What is bread? What to look for, stuff like that. Um, they're on the multiple choice exam. Um, I don't know if they are I don't know if it's a shorter theory question, but it could be. I could see them doing something like that now, making you explain or defend temperatures for certain wines and or walk us through the decanting process for something, step by step, you know. I could see that being a theory or short answer question. Um, so here's some more. I have, if you can't find mock exams, I have some for you here. This one is 20 questions long. Um, yeah, they have one, it's like 10, 20, or 30. I don't know where I found this. Oh, this is from the WSET school, which is cute. It's cute that you guys have all of these opportunities. I don't know if I'm jealous or not. Yep, cute.
I can't see your screen. I don't know if anybody else has that issue.
Hold on. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, so yeah, this one I'll go back. This mock exam that I put on here, you can do 10, 20, or 30 questions. And I believe, and this is from the WSET school. And it does switch every time because the first question I had, what type of wine would you generally recommend to pair with red meat? That's not a good question, but it gives this full body red with tannins. If you got to choose out of these three, and then they'll give you when you're done, they'll give you an assessment. Here it says all quizzes. Oh, these are just for level 3. Okay. This link is on here. And then this test has 50 questions I found. Yep. This one it has a lot. Now, this is called passwest.com. They have, if you want to continue, you can they have a sample quiz, they have practice sims, and they have their own version of flashcards. Oh no, you had to pay for these. So that's why I didn't do it. Sorry. I don't want y'all to pay. We'll practice tests. So the link that I have you at, you don't have to pay for this test. But I think there's 50 questions on there. Um, and they'll give you an assessment. Oh, I saw a question. Okay, that was from before. Okay. This one was so here's some. Oh, let me go back. Oh, sorry. Let me go back. Go back. Oh, the link is not here. Okay. I'll have to put the flashcard link back on here. There was about 300 flashcards. Um, here's some books. This is here's the grade grid. This is the one I wish I had. Look, she has all the grapes on here, y'all. Pinot Noir, and then the climate, acidity, the tannins, body flavor, old characteristic, aging. Somebody just typed all this out. And I think she has there's a 40 grapes on here. Yeah, there's a lot. That's pretty dope. I wish I had this when I took this test. So I did put that link there. Again, when you guys go to download, you will have to subscribe to Scribed. You just need your email. And then yeah, after 30 days, you have to start paying. So just try to download as much as you can. They have all kinds of books on here, okay? All the champagne books are here. See, look, they just put that, they put this book on here. I just bought this sucker too. Ah, I just bought this. And this sucker is on here. I'm sorry, I'm a little outraged. I could have downloaded this book. Anyway, okay. But yeah, the grid's on there. That's a great help. Um, I put, what study guide is this? Let's see. Um, oh, the level 3 study guides is on here. It's at the bottom. I couldn't break them up. Oh, look, here's the issues. The 19, the 29. If you had the 19, you could have kept that book to 22. They did one upgrade in 23, and then that 23 book is already to 25. So the tweaks are minor. I know some people, just so you know, you tell your people under you. If you have a brand new book after you're done, please let some people know that you have a book and you don't need it anymore if you don't want to keep it. So those people can use it. That's always helpful. Here's another workbook I found. I think the one I found was from 2023. I don't know if it'll let me click on it. It might not, because it's down here. I won't. Okay. Anyway, the workbook I have on there is from 23. I believe it's like 78 pages. So you guys can download that and put it in a PDF. I would suggest you start putting your stuff in a 3-ring binder. If you something that you can put your book in, your workbook in, your study guide, and then your loose notes, everything you're going to print out. I would definitely put that in a binder, your maps, put that all together so you can just pick it up. I like the new binders I don't know if they're new, but I like the ones now that it's an actual 3-ring binder, but it also zips up around the side. So that keeps everything contained if you have issues like me with pens and stuff. Okay. All right. So as you're taking the exam, I get questions on what is the difference between the WSET level 3 and versus CMS? You know, what are the things you can or can't do with level 3s? So I kind of put on here like what's the difference between the wine SET certification and a certified, what the CMS program. Um, so there's many factors for you to consider for your wine certification program. What works best for you? CMS is primarily targeted to individuals who want to work in hospitality industry as sommeliers and wine beverage directors, whereas the WSET is for anyone for anyone, everyone is interested in wine, um, whether for professional reasons or not. The CMS requires that candidates have a certain number of years of hospitality experience in order to enroll. Courses are intended to be taken consecutively, with each level requiring students to have passed the previous within a certain time frame, aside from being a legal drinking age. The WSET has no prerequisites to enroll. As long as the student can demonstrate the necessary knowledge to enroll in a way more demanding W3 and 4 courses, they do not have to be taken consecutively. So, like, I never took level 1, I went straight to 2, but that's a story within itself. Then after 2, I went to 3. I have no desire to take the diploma program because by that time I had decided I wanted to. I don't remember why. Oh, I heard it was hard. I was tired. The diploma program is no joke. It's in 6 units. It takes like 2 years. If you decide to start it, at least they say you start with unit 6 and then you work your way back from there. 6 and then 1, 2, 3, and 4. Um, um, CMS has the intro, the advanced, and then the intro for the masters and the masters. There's Master of Wine, which most people, well, I don't want to say that. Usually people who start with the WSET go through diplomas. Sometimes they end up in MW, Master of Wine programs. You don't see a lot of people start CMS and then don't go to Master Sommelier and then jump over to the Master Wine. It's either one or the other. Brains. Level 3s can do a variety of things. You can still be a wine director with a level 3. You probably still will have to take the CMS if you want to get to that space. I know some SOMs will let you work with their on the floor if you have a level 3, level 2, in fact, and then they will want you to take the CMS exam. Basically, you have to decide if you want to work on the floor or not. I mean, it kind of comes down to that. There's a lot more positions within the world of wine that do not have to do with the floor. I don't work on the floor all the time, but I SOM with other entities. I'm a SOM, I do stage at a restaurant from time to time. At most of the time, my sommelier skills are performed during events, country clubs, with importers, distributors in that space. And I do independent work with people in their homes. So there's those things. Um, um, I think I'm in both worlds. I don't have any desire to be a full-time sommelier, not at my age, my knees. I can't. So, but level 3s definitely is a whole nother category. It's very prestigious. It's not easy. This exam is no joke. You need to respect it. Um, you definitely need to respect it. Reach out to people taking it in regards to, like, if you have questions. A lot of stuff is on the internet, you guys. Some of this stuff is, I have, and ChatGPT is a good resource too. The model that they have out, that is the free version for OpenAI, is up to date till 24 now. I believe they finally got it up to 24. So you can definitely ask it a lot. The paid version is even better, the $20, not the 200. It helps you with getting into the mindset of the style. Now, it's not going to, if you don't know, if you're just answering stuff, that's not going to get you through the short theory. You definitely still need to answer in your own voice, I have to say. But there are a lot of resources out here for this. So, um, yeah. Mm, trying to get to. Like it started me all over. All right. I think I was at the end anyway. Okay. So we're gonna stop sharing. Thank you guys for your attention. If I want to make sure that we don't have any questions. Hold on, catch me up. Okay. I'm now having the AI go make some notes. All right, ladies, we have questions. Gentlemen, people. I think somebody made a note in the chat. Hold on. Okay, I don't see anything else. All right. No questions? All right, you guys. I will have sometime this weekend. I'll put this on a PDF with the links. Um, and I'll have this out so you guys can use these links. You said not for me. I will wait on the deck so I could. Okay, I'll send this out to you guys, and then you can go through and start to, like I said, click on all those links and download that information. I definitely will say go subscribe to Scribed for 30 days and go find as many materials as you can. And I'm always available if you need any help. I believe they're definitely going to have this recording for everyone to have if needed. And so, good luck, everybody. Um, and I hope to see you guys on the trail sometime this year. All right, y'all. Have a good day, people.